What is up, everybody? Welcome back to a Thanksgiving week episode of Chicken Bone Alley, brought to you by SRI Performance, Stock Car Steel and Aluminum, Earl Ramey Racing Engines, and ProFab Headers and Exhausts. What's going on, guys? I'm David.
I'm Connor.
What's up, man?
Not a whole lot. It's kind of a cold week.
It's getting chilly.
Yeah.
Well, it's supposed to warm back up a little bit during the week, and then all of a sudden Saturday, I think it's supposed to be like super cold this week.
Which I'm fine with. We get so much hot around here.
That's what I told somebody today. I'm like, you better just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Before you know it, it'll be 100 degrees again. I about froze my tail off this past weekend. It's been, it was chilly out there for sure at Florence Motor Speedway. We are coming off of the South Carolina 400 week here at Florence Motor Speedway. We got a bunch to talk about it coming up soon. But before that, man, what you been up to? Oh, you just been chilling? You out of school this week?
Yeah. Today is my last day this week, so
Monday's the last day. It's like, why even go Monday? You know?
Yeah. Well, they have a Monday and Tuesday, but I don't have anything on Tuesday.
Oh, I got you.
So, yeah, get that. Got finals after that, but should be winding down here for too long.
Got finals in your first semester.
Yeah.
Feel like it just started.
Yeah, it really does.
How's all these classes went?
They're good so far. Still pretty fresh into it, but I haven't had any problem so far. So
good deal. We was talking about Landon the other day, and I'm like, yep, you about halfway done with this your sophomore year here.
Wow.
He's I don't remember if I think I told you already. He's trying out for a soccer team.
Oh yeah.
He
Probably a lot of running around this time, isn't it?
Yeah, they went to a couple of conditioning things, and but I think I forgot when he said their true conditioning starts sometime here soon in tryouts. He said he had to put on the sign up form. You know, it said how many years have you played? He said I put a big fat 0. So, you know, he was like, well, we'll see what happens.
Hey, man, perfect time to start.
Better late than never.
Yeah.
I guess. So, it's, we'll see how that goes. Man, we've had all kind of stuff this past week. Dude, I had, just tell you real quick, I think I need to go to bed now. Friday night, I was out at Florence Motor Speedway till about 1:30, I think it was. Saturday night, I was there until whatever time halfway was, about
probably
11,
yeah.
11:30. And then came back, dropped my dad off, and I went home. So it was still almost 1 o'clock before I got home again. And then yesterday, we had church yesterday morning, but we had an early. Well, I get there early anyway, but they had a pancake breakfast for the kids' ministry and children's ministry, and so I did get these pancakes at least, and and then went and ate at Kayla's parents' house real quick. Turned around, had to be back at church last night. We had we do like a right around Thanksgiving, a few times a year, we do like a little singing service, more or less. So I had to play for it, and so I had to be back at 4:30. Then I was back home. I think I finally got back home at about, I don't know, about 8:30 last night, 9 o'clock. So
yeah, you probably are behind on
I need
sleep.
a nap.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. It is what it is. I do want to say real quick before we get into anything else, our tree right here, still right here. No names on it so far. Ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be. We're selling the flags on the tree, putting your name on the flag, and that is for a $20 donation or more. Any donations are accepted. Our PayPal and our Cash App is on our Facebook page if y'all would like to donate. All those, any proceeds at all that we get from it, at all, any of them, any and all, will be given to Feed the Carolinas, and it is in effort for Hurricane Helene relief. So anything we can get there will definitely be appreciated. It will all be sent to them. So anything you'd like to donate at all, it will all be gladly accepted. But like I said, $20 more gets your name on the Christmas tree on a checker flag there. So please be sure to, if you can, help us out with that between now and Christmas, so we can get as much money, and many meals and everything else we can send up to mainly Western North Carolina for sure. Also some parts in South Carolina that were greatly affected by Hurricane Helene there. So help us out with that if you can. If you need any information about it, you can always shoot us a message on any of our social medias. We'll be glad to let you know anything you need to know about it. But yeah, if you can help us out with that, that would be much appreciated. So anyway, got that out the way. Because it is coming Christmas time. It is 1 month today from Christmas.
Wow.
Where'd the year go?
Yeah, really. It flew by.
Dude, I'm telling you, it is. Whew, I don't know what's going on here. It's I feel like it was just January.
Really? I mean, it was, I don't know. This year, for some reason, I guess I say that every year, but it feels like it just really.
I promise you, the older you get, Connor, the faster
it
they
goes.
go. People used to tell me that, and I was like, I mean, 365 days. No. Man told me one time, he said, the older you get, the longer the days get, but the shorter the years get. And he was not wrong. But even though them days sometimes can be long, you still ain't got enough time in them.
Yeah.
That's cool. You can see, I still got the body off the car over there. They was over here sanding on it and stuff just a little while ago. We about got it real close, ready to prime. All that fun stuff. So
Off-season projects.
yeah, you doing anything yours other than changing cars?
Yeah. I don't know. We got to get some motors freshened up and, all sorts of stuff. Nothing too big. We got to work on trailers and toolboxes more than anything. All that stuff that gets kind of neglected during the season. So, but yeah, we definitely got some off-season projects to get on too.
I hear you there for sure. It's all the trailer stuff I still got. I was looking in our trailer the other day and things I want to redo in it and everything, and it's like today our buddy Chad Webster texts me. He's like, "You running the bash?" I'm like, that's the plan. So being Christmas is a month away, I think that's a week after that. I think.
Well,
pretty much.
So week after New Year's.
So a week and a half, whatever it is. Yeah.
Not long. Yeah.
Not long at all. So we desperately getting things together for it and getting this car back to get ready and back together. And I will say, and I know Connor probably gladly accept this too, that there is room on either one of our cars. Anybody want to get on there for this year? For next year, 2025. We got space available. So yeah, I was trying to read something there, sorry. But there is space available. I know on my car, probably some on your car, ain't there?
For sure.
Always is. We can find a spot for you. Anybody that's wanting to jump on with either one of us, even on this podcast, there's room for you. We can make something happen. I actually put together a sponsorship proposal the other night. You ever actually put together one?
No, I need to. For the race car or for the...
I did for both.
Yeah.
I kind of combined them. I don't know.
I need to, because that's what people are always, asking,
Yeah.
numbers. And it's like,
I know it's
we'll take whatever, but,
I don't know how everybody else is, but I know probably you're the same way I am. You start talking to somebody and it's like, I don't know. I just feel funny asking
yeah.
And hey, you give me some money? I don't know. That's what we got to do, though.
Yeah,
sure. Obviously, it don't just come across like that, but I don't know. you guys know it out there that you got to it's what can putting your company on a race car do for your company. And so that's what we have to figure out actually on our end. It kind of puts that on us. So it's fun. It's interesting. I don't know. I was trying to go after some possible a corporate sponsor, maybe. Because those can tend to get out a little more funds. I mean, so that's nice to have. But yet I want to keep the local mom and pop places, on there. But that's why I'd like to have a corporate sponsor personally. I mean, just because we can do that, and then we don't have to charge the mom and pop places so much there.
Yeah, looking for a good balance always.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's see if there we go.
Yeah.
There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, coming on our Zoom here, Mr. Stephen Parton. Stephen, what's going on, man?
Oh, not much. I should have realized I needed to download the app there, but now we're just watching it rain outside here in Ohio and trying to get a jump start on next year. Working on some cars already. Got a garage full of them here. So.
I hear you, man. I hear you there. That's what we were just talking about. I got the whole body off my Charger car in here and trying to get everything ready, and 2025 is right around the corner already. So, but man, I want to first off congratulate you on coming home with the Ohio Valley Legend Car Series Championship. Man, that's pretty cool.
Well, I appreciate it. I don't know. It's not luck. It takes a lot to win these, and I got a lot of good help. I tell you, this. I feel lucky sometimes because of the help. When I say I'm lucky, it's the help that I have that does a lot for me while I'm busy. We're trying to grow some businesses and start that stuff. And this summer I was working out of town, so there was some Friday nights that I didn't get to the racetrack till after hot laps. And I had my girlfriend Sarah and my buddy Branson that goes to every race. I mean, sometimes Branson would have the car there rolled out of the trailer ready for me to jump in and go. So, I wouldn't have been able to win a championship if it hadn't been for them and everybody else in the community that helps a ton. So, my name's on the title, but I wish I could list everybody else because they really want it for me for sure.
I know exactly what you. Let me actually change hats here real quick. I forgot. Let me put my Ohio Valley hat on here. Our good buddy Kale Maben sends me one about every year when y'all come out with a new one. So, and he just commented on here. I want to tell everybody hello. So, but he's another one, man. He's one that races with you guys. And real quick, I know we're talking to you about your championship, and but you're also the promoter of the series. So we'll get into that here shortly. But real quick, people just because they're good friends of mine, Kel Maben, Levi Morris, man, seeing them guys come on in the last couple years or last few years and really get going at a series like this, man, how cool is that?
I mean, I love watching everybody advance, but, those guys in particular, I talk about people helping me. I mean, they will never, ever say that they're any help at all. They're all so humble, but I tell you, they've got access to the series Facebook page. They take all the heat race winner pictures, all the post race interviews, and they just love being there. Not only are they competitive and getting better every single week, they just love being there, love being at the racetrack, and those are the kind of people that I need all the racers, but I love the ones the most that just love being there. No matter the result, they're happy, got a smile on their face. Everybody gets frustrated from time to time, but all in all, they just love Legend Car racing, and I appreciate their help and support, and I mean, we couldn't be as popular as we are without Kale and Levi. I mean, they'd never tell you that, but I'll tell you that they do a lot for us, so I appreciate them, and I mean, watching their progression has been amazing. Kale keeps telling me, I just want to win a race, and I'm telling him, it's coming, buddy. All the little things you learn from week to week, you don't realize it. And then one race, you'll put them all together, and you'll be like, I didn't do anything different, but it was the years of experience that added up to winning those races. So, yeah, I can't thank those guys enough. Levi and Kale do a ton for us.
They are definitely great ambassadors of the series, but also just of the sport in general. That they are. So we just mentioned though that not only are you the champion, but you are also the promoter of the Ohio Valley Legend Car Series. How do you juggle that, man? That's got to be a lot sometimes.
I get some interesting. I have. Let me rephrase this. I've heard some interesting things about me through the grapevine, but I kind of let all that roll off my shoulder. My goal is to be as fair as possible, and I think those that race with us week in and week out will tell you that we're pretty fair when it comes to tech inspection. I mean, I have to be as open as possible with my car. So after tech, I offer it to anybody. We usually have 3 things that the top 3 get teched. I'll have those. Won't disclose those till the end of the night. I'll run through tech on my car as well as everybody else, and then I open my car to, hey, if anybody else wants to tech anything else, let's do it right here. Especially if I win a race or something. I'd be happy to tear anything down that anybody wanted, but I keep it as fair as possible, and honestly, I do it because I started doing it in 2013 because I wanted other places to race. We used to own Brush Creek Motorsports Complex, and actually just sold that last year, but we raced there every week back in the day. And as we were growing cars, we thought, well, on our off weekends, let's go race somewhere else. So it really just started from, let's call a local track 30 miles down the road and see if they'll have us. And then, hey, we ran there a few times, let's call somewhere else. And then the next year we started keeping points and so on and so forth. It wasn't like we said, we're going to start a series, but it just kind of evolved into that as it grew. But yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, I went from 2013 winning the first one when I was a kid, and then 2020, it took me till 2020 to win another one, and finally 2024 to win this third one. So it's not like I'm winning them every year. It's a lot of tough competition for sure.
Well, I was actually there when you won it in 2020. I was
their track world championship. Yeah,
I was. I met you there that night. So
awesome.
That's been a few days back. Man, it was cold there that night.
I miss it at Portsmouth. Everybody loves it at Eldora, but I miss it down by the river at PRP. A little different, but I might get in trouble for saying that. The big wigs in racing might not like me for saying that, but hey, I wish it was back at good old PRP. But
it was a cool track. I just saw too many horror stories about that river rise, and I was scared sitting there. I'm like, man.
We actually, just a little side note, we raced a legend car race there one night, and they had concerns. It had rained a few days ago. They had concerns that the river was rising. And of course, I'm not used to that. I'm like, let's race. It rained 2 or 3 days ago. What's up? They decided to race. And when we pulled in, the way you pull in, you couldn't really see the river. And as the night went on, the drain in the infield started filling up, and the infield started filling up with water. By the end of the night, we drove out of the pits through river water. It was rising that fast. It was a wild night at Portsmouth. But yeah, so the river stories are true. Portsmouth, we experienced one for sure.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, go back just a little bit. I know you just kind of talked about it, but give us kind of your history of racing, man. When did you start racing in general?
Yeah, I started in go-karts like a lot of kids do. 8 years old, which is late nowadays. Kids are starting really young nowadays. But I started at 8 and raced go-karts until I was 12, and that's when you could start racing legend cars. And I've raced legend cars ever since. I'm 27 years old and have raced legend cars since I was 12. Certain things in my life make me, I'm like, I'm not that old. And then when I talk about how long I've raced legend cars, I'm like, well, I guess I'm getting old, But, I've watched the legend cars evolve through so many changes, and pick up speed, just differences in tire manufacturers, and we've picked up grip every time they've changed tire manufacturer. It's we've gotten faster. They just changed shocks, engine changes. It's been a lot of change, and I guess I've been there through a lot of it. Not as much as some people, but I've raced go-karts and legend cars, and that is it. I mean, I've got to test drive a sprint car one time and a modified one time, but other than that, a legend car is my history of oval car racing for sure.
Well, I want to ask you a question. I guess we'll get a little political on it here as far as the legend car series goes. I actually just sold my legend car. We'll get into the reasons. Connor still runs one here. We run on asphalt down here. Do you think, being a series promoter, series owner, do you, all the changes you just talked about, do you see them all as a good thing, or do you see it something that is kind of hampering a little bit of the sport in a way?
And I'm also the local dealer up here, so
that's
I guess
right.
that
That's right. So I'm gonna let you.
That's all right. That's all right. I have a lot of good conversations with the folks down there, and everybody's got their opinions, right? I wish some of the changes would have came slower, and I've seen that in participation up here for sure. It has moneyed some of the weekend warrior guys out of it for sure. We changed tire brands, and that went to Hoosier. That wasn't terrible. The not being able to get Hoosiers there during COVID, which I know there was a lot of factors. It wasn't all Hoosiers' fault.
That's right.
That really hurt things. And then I think the shocks and the motor changes probably came too close together, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. Thankfully, a lot of the Bilstein cars are still able to compete. I mean, I've won this year on Bilsteins and have a set of AFCOs and haven't even bolted them on. So I'm glad that they're still, it's not like they're blowing you out of the water, right?
That's right.
I wish the FZ09 would have stuck around a little longer before the MT09 came out.
Yeah.
But, if I was in charge for a while, I probably would have spread those things out. But I know there's so many things behind the scenes that we're not privy to that I'm sure they're dealing with, and supply chain issues. And is Yamaha still producing a certain motor? And
that's right.
I just wish that if I could have been in charge of it with no outside factors, I would have probably slowed the changes down, because definitely has affected the dollar amount it takes to compete. We still, luckily on dirt, it's not quite as bad. We went to Beckley, West Virginia last weekend, and the second place car was a 1250 and outran a FZ09. I won, and I was an FZ09, and he was right between two FZ09s. So it still shows that on dirt that a 1250 can compete. Obviously, it's a lot of the wins still come with the FZ09, but I know the asphalt world, you guys, it's hard to, every little thing that picks up a quarter of a tenth is a must-have for sure.
Dude, it's insane on the asphalt side. It's and I'll tell you straight up, I wish when the shock deal came around, I don't think we needed 4 options. If we didn't want to update a shock,
No.
I was fine with updating a shock, but I don't think we needed 4 options for it. That's just my personal opinion. But
no, I agree. As a racer, I agree. I'm having this. You'll have to have extras in the trailer is the problem, right?
Yep.
So instead of buying 4 shocks, maybe 5 for a spare, you'll have 6, 7, 8 to be able to tune on. Once you figure it out, it probably won't change that much, but it does lend another factor. I mean, I know I've only raced legend cars, so I knew nothing about shock rates because all I had to do was buy a Bilstein. When this came out, the modified and late model guys were like, "Oh yeah, now you can do this and this on the right front," and I'm like, "Boys, I was used to buying one and bolting it on. I have no clue what compression and rebound even is."
That's
I've
right.
since learned a little bit, but yeah, I agree. But I guess it's the way of the world, and that's the way we're gonna go. And at least I guess now you can rebuild a shock for 150ish instead of having to buy a new one. That's an upside, but I kind of agree with you to a certain degree for sure.
That's right. And you were just talking about us guys on asphalt down here. Our biggest problem right now. And probably, and I'll be 100% honest, and I ain't trying to get into anything negative. I mean, with you on here, man, we want to talk positive. But just throwing it out there, the biggest reason I probably got out of legend cars down here is because when we did start getting new tires, the Hoosiers we're getting, there's plenty of rubber there, but they fall off a half a second in 2 races, and
Right.
they're costing us, I think about $720 set of tires, and it's just, so it's just, I don't know, it's just, it's tough right now on the asphalt side.
Yeah, I mean, the good news, the asphalt side's tough because the dirt stuff, that's where, and I'm terrible on asphalt, so I mean, I have no room to talk on asphalt. I'm a terrible asphalt racer. I'm trying to get better, but we don't have a whole lot of options to race. But I mean, the good thing about the dirt stuff and where we're at is I ran a whole season until you go to nationals. They make you buy 5 brand new tires, so
That's
everybody's
right.
on an even playing field. But I ran the whole season on 6 tires, all year, and we raced 2 nights a week, every week, sometimes 3 nights a week. And we don't. I know down around you guys, especially like Fayetteville, North Carolina, the track's way more abrasive, takes rubber a lot more. So yeah, you would go through a few more tires, but when I'm selling people up here on legend cars, that's a big plus. You got modified guys putting new tires on. Some guys every time they go out, right, just
That's
to get
right.
that little advantage. In this case, you can buff them on dirt. You can buff them, and they really last a long time. I know on asphalt though, yeah, and again, asphalt's so every quarter of a tenth of a hundredth, is means a big difference. So, yeah, I can see that for sure. That new tires would be a big gain on asphalt, and that does kind of suck.
Well, man, like I said, I wasn't trying to get anything negative. I just wanted to get your opinion on the state of the sport more than anything, as far as all that went. But
Yeah, I mean, as far as legend car racing goes, I think we're still in a good spot. I think it's taken maybe a different crowd of people. Maybe it seems like instead of your local go-kart racer, it's your local quarter midget racer. Your dad
right.
that's used to dealing with shocks and tire staggers and stuff is going to be the dad that puts his kid in a legend car versus a guy that's on the flat carts on dirt. He don't know anything about shocks or anything. He might be steered away. But, I think whatever anybody's opinion is on the NASCAR kids running, I think that helps bring attention to legend cars. And so that will definitely help. I mean, a lot of parents want to see what Braxton Bush and Keelan Harvick are running. That's what they want to put their kid in, right? And so that helps. And a lot of people get frustrated with me when I talk about kids racing legend cars, but I'm like, that's the future in anything. We need to get kids involved because those kids, not everybody's life, if you can get them started. So I think it's in a good spot. It's just definitely a lot different than it's been the last few years for sure.
Well, a big positive of something you just said right there. This past weekend, Keelan Harvick, as you just talked about, he got in a limited late model right down here at Florence Motor Speedway on Friday night, and I think he finished 6th, I want to believe, out of 30 cars. So that tells you, how important it is to come up through the legend car ranks and what kind of talent that brings because, that was his first race in he'd run he drove a street stock one time. And so this, other than a street stock, this is the first time I think he's been in a full body car like that. And so, he was able to take everything he had learned because he raced a ton at Florence Motor Speedway this past year in the legend car. And he had taken everything he learned from the legend car, got in the late model, and was able to run with the guys up front. So, like you said, man, there's people can say what they want, but that does. A legend car is probably one of the hardest things in the world to drive, in my opinion. It's they're a handful sometimes.
Nobody believes you around it. Nobody believes me when I say that until they get in one, right? They're like, oh yeah, he's just selling legend cars, and I'm like, get out here and drive one, and they're like, oh yeah, this is a little different.
They are a handful, that is for sure. And so when somebody can get out of one like that and jump in a big car and be like, okay, this is how this works, and they know how to drive it already. So that is a huge plus for the legend cars for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a little biased to Keelan Harvick. He runs his legend car program is Joe Ryan Race Cars, and Joe Ryan is one of my best friends. He's taught me everything that I know that makes me fast about legend car racing. So I've got to not only see it from afar, but kind of be behind the scenes of the work that Keelan and them put in and the testing and the practice that they go through. And, he's going to credit wherever his career lands, he's going to credit legend cars as giving him a lot of the skills that got him started. I mean, he at our racetrack at Brush Creek when we owned it a couple of years ago, it was his first dirt race, his first legend car race ever, and the kid ran second to the pro national champion Landon Lewis. I mean, battling door to door in his first race. So he's got a lot of natural ability. And I think that for sure when he moves up, he'll credit a lot of his success to starting in legend cars and learning those fundamentals for sure.
I got a story about your buddy, Mr. Joe Ryan Osborne.
There you go.
From
Let's
this
hear it.
from this past Friday night. He's probably still upset about it. I don't know, but it's not it's funny, but it's not funny. He I think I don't know if they sold their toter home and big trailer. I know they were trying to sell it. But
working on it. Not sure if he got it sold or not. But
yeah, but he got a new truck and dude, this trailer he's got, it's a gooseneck, and it is the longest trailer I've ever seen. It got to be a 53 foot. Well,
yep.
He went to come over the track, come back out of the track, and they didn't go at any angle at all. He just tried to go straight over the track. And when it did, I am pretty sure the trailer came down on the tailgate of the truck. Then the trailer got stuck on the track. And, I mean, it just drug across there, and I see wires hanging out from under it. I'm like, oh, no. So then they finally backed up and went around the track and kind of caught it at an angle, and it's still hanging tires in the air and everything else. I was like, man, that is a long trailer.
Yeah, I'll have to ask him. He failed to mention that. You know, he didn't send me any Snapchats or anything about that. So I'll have to ask him about it for sure. Yeah, it's all. I've looked at some longer trailers, and I'm like, man, it's all fun and games till you try to pull into a gas station or something, and all the axles are off the ground for sure. Yeah, you don't think about it till it happens.
You ain't wrong, man. Well, cool, man. All right, so what is what's big for 2025 coming up in the Ohio Valley Legend Car Series?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, scheduling this year is kind of weird, just because a lot of the tracks are pushing to put their stuff out now, and then a lot of the tracks will wait until January to put their stuff out. So it's like trying to fill the gaps in here and there. This year, I'm going to focus a lot on trying to work together with some other events, you know, making sure we schedule off around Dirt Nationals, which I always go to, but not just because of that, but to give guys here that might want to go to Dirt Nationals a chance. There's supposedly a race, which I can't drop any info, but it'll be coming out in a few weeks in the Midwest somewhere that's going to pay pretty big. So we'll be off for that to support that event, and just trying to support some of the weekly stuff around here that's trying to pick up some of the tracks or wanting to run Legends more often than we can go. So they're trying to pick it up, maybe run weekly or bi-weekly or something. So trying to work all that in and still have a series that guys can run for points if they want to, and a place to race at several different places. The idea would be, you know, some of our regulars like Moeller Raceway Park, Florence Speedway here in Kentucky, and Portsmouth Raceway Park. Some of the regulars will hit 3 or 4 times, but then some of the other places at least 2 times. You know, it sounds like we're going to go back to Lawrenceburg Speedway in Indiana and Skyline Speedway on the other end of the spectrum, Eastern Ohio. So we'll run within. I'm here in Peebles. It's a little biased, Peebles, Ohio. So we'll run within 3 hours ish of here. And of course, everybody knows the Hillbilly 100 moved to Lernerville Speedway. So you know, the promoter asked me before they even made the announcement if Legends would be interested in running there. So I don't have all the details, but that sounds like a stop on the tour as well, which we'll announce down the road. Got a cool weekend, which I can go ahead and announce it now that the details are out. I just haven't had all the flyers worked up yet, but going to Kentucky, kind of spending a weekend in Kentucky for the first time. We've been to Kentucky with Lawrence Speedway, but that's just right across the river. I don't count that as Kentucky, but this time we're going deep in Kentucky to Ponderosa Speedway on a Friday night and Rock Castle Speedway on a Saturday night. That's a weekend in Kentucky, and I'm going to bill it as the Bourbon State Classic, give away some bourbon-themed trophies, and the overall weekend winner will get a custom desktop bourbon barrel. So something a little different. The payouts are a little higher than normal, so all that info will be coming out soon. But yeah, some fun weekends planned, and a couple off weekends to give people a breather, and just another full season, 20-25 races ish. So
very cool, man. Very cool. Well, man, we sure appreciate you. And but before you get off here, man, who all you want to thank? I know you got tons of people between the car and the series, you know, for helping y'all out, man.
Oh yeah, I mean, you know, everybody that races with us, you know, I know I'm a competitor when we're on the racetrack too, but I appreciate each and every one of them. Anybody that comes through the gate to race with us, whether you like me or not, I appreciate your attendance. Just because you're helping us grow legend car racing, and I love legend cars with a passion. I don't see myself racing anything else. So, we hope to keep doing right and getting everybody's opinions and keep making everybody as happy as possible. Can't make everybody happy racing, but everybody that supports our events, Kale and Levi that helps us put it on, and my girlfriend Sarah, this was her first year in racing, and she put up with a lot, went to races every night, every Friday and Saturday, and never complained, not once. Actually, when we had a weekend off, she said she missed going to the races. So I'll have to find a ring store or something, figure that out.
There you
go. On the race car, I got to thank my buddy Branson comes in, Branson Grooms. He helps me in the shop, goes to the races when he can, and he's actually going to start racing full-time with us next year with a car out of here. So I'll lose some help, but I'll gain some more competition on the track. But Joe Ryan Race Cars, Joe Ryan, Billy Workman Jr., Candace Hornaday, I say it every time I get out of the car. Not only are they some of my best friends in the whole world, but they've made me the race car driver I am. I got a lot of work to do, and I'm a head case sometimes. A lot of it's just talking me off the cliff, just go drive the thing. Don't worry about it. And I'm wanting to put 60-pound air in the right rear tire or something crazy, But, they've made me the race car driver I am, and, I'm going to work with them and keep taking their advice, and hopefully we can do bigger and better things next year. My ultimate goal is a national championship one day, and that might not be next year, but I won't stop till we get it. So.
There you go, man. Well, dude, we sure appreciate you and appreciate what you do up there with the Ohio Valley Legend Car Series. And, man, hopefully we'll get to have you back on here pretty soon, man, talking about some big races coming up and stuff.
Sounds good, buddy. I appreciate both of you guys, and hope everybody watching enjoys the holidays. And don't worry, racing, there's no off-season anymore. Racing will be here before you know it.
No, you are dead right, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Mr. Stephen Parton there hanging out with us tonight from the Ohio area up there in the Ohio Valley. Like I said, that's got to be tough to flip two hats like that and be a racer and be series promoter. And but I will say, and I've been there, seen it. The guys that race with him, like you said, he welcomes them to look at anything on the car and tech it, whatever, and they trust him. So
that's good.
That's all you can ask for.
All right.
So anyway, let's hit up an ad real quick.
Chicken Bone Alley is brought to you by SRI Performance. They are your one-stop shop for all things racing. Do you need performance parts? Look no further. They offer a wide range of high-performance parts for various types of racing, including stock car racing, dirt racing, and more. SRI Performance also has the most knowledgeable employees in the industry. If you're looking for that hard-to-find part, they've got it. And if you're wondering how to make it work on your car, they know it. Check them out online at www.sriperformance.com. And when you do, don't forget to use the promo code CBONE10. That's C as in chicken, BONE10, and get 10% off at checkout. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum is a full-line steel service center stocking thousands of sizes, shapes, grades, and types of metals and plastic. If you need it, they have it. And if not, they work fast to find what you need and get it to you. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum also has the ability to cut orders to your specifications as requested. Their dedicated team not only brings many years of experience to the table, but they are always ready and willing to lend a hand with anything you may need. Stock Car Steel and Aluminum. Your material needs are covered here.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to thank Earl Ramey Racing Engines. They are your one-stop shop for race engines, that is for sure. Anything from the crate, any of the crate programs, all the way up through supers and everything in between, limited. Us late model stock guys, even, you can get some of those motors there if you need it. So head over to Earl Ramey Racing Engines, and one of the things he's going to tell you is you need some Profab headers and exhaust. Profab headers and exhaust, they are quality that wins. and it is 100% true. That is their slogan. So head over to Profab Headers and Exhaust, ladies and gentlemen. Pick yourself up some today, and tell them we sent you over there. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like we talked about, and obviously it was huge, the South Carolina 400 this past weekend at Florence Motor Speedway. Man, was there the people there.
Yeah, what a weekend. Wow.
What a weekend. It was crazy out there. I've never seen that many people there, ever.
Oh, yeah. I can't imagine the time there ever being.
Dude.
Even in whatever heyday, you would say
Yeah.
there was. I don't think there's ever been that many people there.
My mother-in-law she called and I missed the call, which I don't think I had any service. She called on Saturday, but I talked to her yesterday, and she was like, we rode by. They didn't have a clue what was actually going on there. And they called just to ask what was going on because there were so many cars. From the driveway, cars were parked on the side of the road at almost 1 mile in each direction on both sides of the road. And I mean, this is a major highway. It runs through there too. So, police probably were not happy about it. But it was absolutely insane. And, ladies and gentlemen, on the Zoom with us now is the winner from the South Carolina 400, Mr. Trayton Lapsovich. Trayton, I got a question for you, man. When's the last time you planted a palm tree at about 1 o'clock in the morning?
I can't say I have before. Albeit the 1 a.m. in the morning, palm trees aren't too popular in Canada either. But, so it's definitely a first for me.
Man, congratulations! That was a big win there. And I know you've had a few this year, but man, just tell us, in your ranking of wins, where does that one rank for you?
That one's definitely right up at the top. I don't think it's quite sunk in yet. Just the kind of the prestige of surrounding the event. Kind of pretty surreal to win an event like that. It's one of the crown jewels in the late model stock world. It's only my first year running late model stocks, but you kind of capture how much it means to everyone just by walking in that pit gate and kind of the whole atmosphere surrounding the whole weekend. So. Definitely really high up on my list of wins. Like I said, right up at the top, and just pretty grateful to get that opportunity and be able to get it done.
Man, it was a good race to watch, buddy. So I will say, y'all were over there obviously Thursday and Friday for practice. You were there obviously a few months ago for the Cars Tour race. But man, how'd you feel about the car? But before qualifying, how'd you feel about it going into it?
I felt terrible, honestly. Thursday we started off really good, like kind of right out of the box first run. And I'm not really sure what happened. We just couldn't really find grip in the car. We thought it might have just been, getting on older tires and kind of losing overall grip. Just still couldn't really find anything the rest of Thursday practice. Felt like we were sort of falling behind compared to everybody else. Friday morning, we found a broken shock, and we thought that was going to be it. Gonna fix the car. And still kind of same thing. Just didn't really have the overall grip that we wanted. And in between Thursday and Saturday morning practice, and I think we probably threw the kitchen sink at the car 3 or 4 times. And just before qualifying, rolling in qualifying tech, we had all 4 shocks and springs off the car again. Just trying to make some little adjustments, or not even little adjustments, sorry, but big adjustments to try and get us where we needed to be. But I don't know. It's just kind of crazy to me that after making all those adjustments, I mean, just in final practice, there was 4 or 5 things that we were changing just to try and get the balance to where I felt it needed to be. And like I said, it's just kind of crazy that after all that, we were able to hit it right on the nail and right where the car needed to be. But that's just pretty much a huge hats off to Chad and the whole Chad Bryant Racing team. They've certainly got something figured out at Florence. definitely kind of took the roundabout way to get there this time, but at the end of the day, we got the car right where I needed to be.
Man, Chad's done it many ways there. I've seen him start with guys on the pole there. I've seen him start with him in the last and still win the race. So Chad has definitely that group has definitely figured out something over there. So once you went into qualifying, man, things got crazy. Things were tight there in qualifying. I was steadily watching Race Monitor, and man, it was so close over with 56 cars I think took qualifying time. Was that any? Were you a little nervous about having that many cars out there just qualifying?
Yeah, I was. We honestly qualified better than I thought we were going to. Of course, it would have been nice to qualify right in and not have to run the heat race, but just kind of with how our weekend had been going and the speed that we had on mock runs, we definitely were lacking speed on mock runs. We knew that. Race runs, like I said, the car wasn't feeling the greatest, but we felt like we had some sort of speed on race runs. So overall was probably feeling the worst about qualifying trim over anything. So qualifying 24th, I think it was, not the greatest for sure, but better than I thought, and it kind of gave us a good starting spot for the heat race. But it was nerve-wracking for sure. That's a lot of cars in one place, and like you said, the times were really tight. I think we were less than half a tenth from just qualifying straight in, and we were 24th. So just really tight all the way around.
So being that you had to run a heat race, did you feel like that kind of helped you any, kind of to know what you were going to have over a little longer run once the sun went down and temperatures dropped pretty quick? Do you feel like that helped you any?
I think it did, but it's kind of funny. After the heat race, I said the car was great, and we didn't make an adjustment to it at that point. So it definitely, if anything, it made me feel a lot better about the race that was coming up for the big 250 lapper. But it was nice to kind of get in a rhythm. I feel like even in the heat race, just getting 25 laps straight there and able to log laps helped me. Probably found a little bit with my line in the heat race, just following DJ there for a little bit that I could build on. Worked a little bit with just saving tires in that 25 laps. We kind of held back early in the race and just seeing how much more we had later in the run to really judge the fall off. So overall it was probably a pretty good opportunity to see where we're going to be at for the big race.
Well, man, before we actually get into the race, us locals here, dude, to us, that crowd there was just absolutely electric. Did you feel that yourself? Coming here, as an outsider coming in, how'd you feel about that weekend? Was it just cool to you too?
Yeah, I mean it's really cool, and it's just good to see, honestly. Dale coming to run with us, that's pretty big thanks to him. He doesn't have to do it for sure, but I'm pretty, from what I understand, he enjoys doing it, and he brings a big crowd and a lot of visibility to the grassroots racing here. So that's a pretty big hats off to Dale for him to come out and bring that crowd, and that crowd, they made most of them probably there for Dale, of course, but they may come back another time, judging off by what they saw at the racetrack there, and maybe they hadn't been to Florence before or saw a late model stock race before. So overall, I think it's big for late model stock racing. It's big for Florence. Having the race broadcasted on Flow as well is huge. Just a lot of visibility overall, which is great moving forward.
For sure, man, for sure. All right, so let's get into the race, man. 250 laps, pretty long race for a late model stock race. That's we don't see much over 100, 150 typically at a lot of tracks. So it's split. Got a halfway break. Obviously, some natural cautions in between there. But first half of the race, man, how'd you feel about the car?
Right away, I kind of knew we had a good piece. The goal was to get to the top 10 before the halfway break originally. We got to the top 10 pretty quick. I think it was about lap 60 or so. We were already right around the top 10, and there was a caution around that time too. At that point, it's kind of difficult because you don't really know how much other people are riding or how much we're really saving. But I didn't feel like I was pushing my car that hard at all. I felt like driving from 24th up to the top 10, I still felt like I was only probably 60-70% of being all out. So Felt like I was still saving quite a bit moving up through the field. Similarly to when I got to the front right before the halfway break, just really didn't have to push. Just really good race car. It had speed where we needed the speed, and I think that's kind of where we excelled over everybody else. But I felt really good the first 125 laps, and pretty much just told them to leave it at the halfway break too.
That's what I was fixing to ask. Did y'all make any changes at all there at halfway?
Nope, just 4 tires and fuel.
That's what I'm talking about, man. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so second half, man, you got out front, and it was pretty much lights out at that point. That's how it looked anyway, and that was a strong car.
Yeah, I wanted to control the race throughout to the end. It was nice that no one really tried to pressure me pace wise. At that point, I feel like I was probably around 50% for most of that second half of the race, and that's kind of all I needed to do. I was kind of trying to hold around, a 5 to 7 car length lead over Dale who was in second for the most part of that second half of the race, and just trying to maintain it. I knew that if I gave the lead up, it might have been difficult to get it back just in terms of having restarts. You kind of never know how that's going to fall. So just controlling the race all the way through just kind of decreases some of the variables per se into that could show up later in the race. So like I said, just kind of keeping the pace where I felt that it needed to be, and saving some for the end there in case we had some late race restarts.
Well, man, it was definitely a show you put on, and man, brought it to victory lane. So congratulations on that. Man, it's me and Connor ourselves here, we actually just grew up at that track. That's our home track, and our dads were out at that track all the time. So to see something like this, get this much hype, and now the traditions that the Zacharias family is bringing over there, like you going to get to plant the tree over there at 1 o'clock in the morning. That was awesome, man. But you've been able to get in some pretty interesting victory lanes this year, man. Planting a tree, you've gotten to ride an elevator. Man, what is it about this late model stock that you've taken to?
I don't know. I think part of it starts with being with a good team. Like I said, Chad and the Chad Prime Racing team, definitely they've got stuff figured out. I moved to Hickory in June to work on the car and be in full time with the guys in the shop, because I kind of felt like that's what I needed to do, was get hands on the car and really learn it to be more acclimated with the adjustments that we were going to making and the feedback that I could give to the guys. So I really feel like when that happened, that's when we really started to take stride. There's a lot of tracks early on in the car store season that I really wish we could go back to and get another shot at, because I feel like I just learned so much since then, in terms of making adjustments on the car and being set up for the long run too. The car store races, they're always kind of interesting because the majority of the practice that we do, it's all during the daytime on Friday, and then about midday on Saturday too. So you're in the heat of the day, and then all the races are at 8 o'clock at night. And in North Carolina, I noticed that it really cools down from day to night there quite a bit. So just a really big change in balance heading from practice to the race, and I feel like having that knowledge that I do now would have been really nice to apply with going back to those tracks. So. I like I said, great team. I like the longer race at Florence too. Kind of similar to what I'm used to. The NASCAR Canada Series, we always ran 250 to 300 lappers on the ovals. So,
that's right.
I like the tire saving too. It's not something that I grew up doing, or not something that I did in the Canada Series either. But Chad's a great coach for stuff like that, and I like getting acclimated to it as well.
What you had, there's obviously options out there, and you coming from Canada and everywhere else in the country, especially I know you've probably seen all the stuff northeast, and they run supers or pro late models or stuff like that. What really brought you and gravitated you towards late model stock?
It'd have to be the value. The value of the late model stocks, and specifically the Cars Tour series there, is it's better than you can get anywhere else. We after winning the NASCAR Canada Series championship in the year that we had last year, there wasn't really much where else to go in Canada. So to make that move and keep progressing further in my career, we knew that it was necessary to make the jump to the U.S. Budget wise, we didn't, I don't come from anything. I don't come from family money, but I've been really lucky with the supporters that I have with the Vyram and the Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. Was lucky enough to get hooked up with them. And really the car store is what we set our sights on. It's a really good step into competition in the United States. The visibility's there. Of course, with Flow Racing, broadcasting everything, the tracks you go to, the ownership group that the series has. So definitely great value. And I think that's kind of where the difference is between super late model stuff and late model stock stuff is as well. I've done both now. I've done some super late model racing in the States, and just kind of noticed that the atmosphere of the late model stock stuff is almost more in that like top 3 series trajectory. So, I've had a lot of fun. You race with a lot of guys that come from the top 3 series and get to build experience that way.
I hear you there, man. Well, good deal. Well, man, congratulations again. Are y'all running the Thanksgiving Classic this weekend?
We're not. Unfortunately, I'm headed to Pensacola to get prepared for the Snowball Derby in a couple weeks. So we're gonna be testing this weekend. If not, we probably would head back to Southern for the Thanksgiving Classic.
Hey, man, if you got to go between two, you just got to pick one there. I mean, Snowball Derby is a pretty big one too.
Yeah, that's right. I had a lot of fun in Southern National earlier this year in March. That was my first time in the late model stock there. So I do wish that it didn't work like that with the conflict, because I would have really enjoyed to get back there and try that one out again.
Southern National is always a funny track to me. Speaking of, it's like you look at it and it's like, man, there's a lot of banking here. Okay, we're going to run the apron. So that's always interesting.
Yeah, that's kind of what I noticed too. And I wasn't really expecting it to be as abrasive on tires as it was as well. But I kind of thought that from iRacing and what I'd seen, I thought it was going to be a little bit more high grip. But it was a fun track to drive, and I think that's part of it as well.
Well, good deal, man. Well, man, I want to give you a chance to thank whoever helped you out on that ride this year, man.
Yeah, for sure. Like I mentioned, just a huge thanks to Allrum Racing, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship, and Vyram. Those guys definitely have put their belief in me, and I'm really grateful for that. And I've had a lot of fun racing with the Chad Bryant Racing team this year as well. So it was great that we could end off the year on a high note for them. They've all worked super hard all year long, and yeah, like I said, I'm glad we could get it done and add a third South Carolina 400 to the team's resume. So. Just a lot of fun running late model stock this year, and a big thanks to all the supporters.
For sure, man. Any news for 2025 you putting out yet?
Not yet. Definitely working on it. I can say that the hope is to be full-time somewhere running in the States again. So really excited for what the future is to hold, and hopefully we'll have more information on that soon.
Good deal, man. You're definitely on a roll right now. So good luck going down to Pensacola there in the Snowball Derby, and once again, congratulations on the South Carolina 400 win, and you will be enshrined in a palm tree out in the driveway. So, so congratulations, man.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Trayton Lapcevich coming off a win there at Florence Motor Speedway in the South Carolina 400. It was a wild weekend.
Yeah.
We're going to say again. Dude, the crowd was insane. I mean, it, and I'm not just saying for Saturday night. There was a ton of people there Saturday night for sure, but the stands were packed even on Friday night. Which was so cool to see. I was out there, had the speakers and lights and all set up, and DJing a little bit, and man, there were just so many people out there, and I'm gonna tell you, we'll start off with it real quick, since we kind of talked to Trayton about his South Carolina 400, the late model stock portion there. Friday night, the Bandoleros, the Legends, trucks, and limited late models ran. Started off with the Bandoleros. Actually, pretty good race. Like you said, cooler temperatures. I imagine those tires get a little harder in cooler
Oh, yeah.
temperatures, and they probably become a handful. And they did have a few spins, but nothing
too bad.
terrible.
No.
Nothing bad at all. But I'm gonna tell you, dude, I was up in the stands. I'm normally not in the stands. I'm normally down in the pits. I was up in the stands, and that was the most excited crowd I've seen at a race in a long time. I mean, there was just one guy in the crowd, and we were watching him, and it was so funny because he was cheering the flag man on at one point. And I mean, people were looking like, what's this dude drinking? Dude wasn't drinking anything. No,
hyped
he
to
was
be there.
hype. He was the hype man. He come up talking to me one time. I think it was a truck race. I mean, the truck race had a super exciting finish to it. This dude runs down there, runs to victory lane. He's high-fiving the winner and all. Everybody's like, who's this guy? But he was in it. I mean, he was so excited for everything that happened. And just the whole crowd. I mean, like, they're cheering. A lot of the drivers, they didn't know.
Right.
But they were cheering. They were into it. And that's what I love to see, man. It's what we
Good
need.
to see him engaged. And,
Yeah, for sure. It's not just sitting there watching. I mean, they were happy about it, and something to go home and tell everybody about. Like, man, we got to go back there. They put on some good racing. So the Legend cars, Ryan Zima took home the win, but not easily. Carter McMurray
Yeah, he put up a good fight.
put up a real good fight. Didn't look like he quite hit. He looked like he didn't. He was a little. It looked like he was a little tight on entry, and was just hurting his center of the corner. And Ryan Zima just rolled the center of the corner so fast in the Legend car, and was able to get up under him. Zima lost it on a restart, lost the lead, and Carter McMurray took it. And then they had a wreck on the last lap and kind of got wild there. But Ryan Zima come home first. Carter McMurray actually fell back to third. Not sure who was second right now. But anyway, the truck race. Woo!
Yeah. For some reason that, even last year, that was just a wild second half of that race.
It was. It was. Our buddy Brian Hicks.
Oh, yeah.
Him and he his first race back in a year after last year that he didn't race for like 18 years. He had a good run actually. He was running good.
He looked good.
He was running good. Unfortunately, him and Willie Granger got in a little spin there. I don't think it was. There was. I promise you, there was no intention from either side there. But they did.
Like
They got
racing
together.
deal.
Yeah, it was a racing deal. One said one come up, the other said the other one come down. They shook hands and walked off.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, it was. But the big wreck of the night, Jody Meesemer got in the back of Neil Meredith and turned him.
Yeah.
I mean, there ain't much other way to say it because he was into him in the center of the corner, and he never let off until Neil was spinning down the front straightaway.
Yeah. It's hard to tell from TV, but yeah, it looked like.
I asked Neil about it. Neil come up, hung out with me for a while at the stage. I was DJing, had to play some songs for him. He was drinking his pain away, I think. But anyway, he said, dude, let me tell you how I know I got drove through. He said, I got a tire mark on the frame. Yes, you got drove through, literally. I don't know what all went on there. It was wild. I think Dusty Garris ended up winning, but the front pack of 6 was like side by side.
Oh, yeah.
At the
Trucks.
end.
Put on a good race there for sure.
Yeah, it was a heck of a race. Probably the race of the weekend, if you just say competitive wise though, has to go to the limited late models. Man, there was some spins, some wrecks. There was one car that the front of it opened up like a old Corvette somehow. I didn't even see how that happened. Did you see that?
Or the whole front.
Yeah,
like
it was
off of it?
Kevin Parsons.
Yeah.
It just fenders, hood, everything, nose all stood straight up. I was like, how does that even happen? So I don't know. There was some wild racing in it. But at the end, there was, I don't know, how long was that last run there? Probably a good 15 laps or so. 10 to 15 laps-ish, something like that. And I think Matt Cox and Ricky Locklear Jr. ran side by side. They did. They ran side by side the entire last of that race. I think if either one of them could have got in front of the other, they probably would have been okay. But just the way the racing was, is they were just.
I think Matt was a little better car wise, but I mean, Little Rick's, I mean, he can drive it. You know, he was just.
He's a wheel man,
giving it all it could. You know, and almost had it. That was
It just depended which lap it landed on.
Yeah,
because there was some laps Lil Rick was leader, some laps Matt was leader. But regardless, both of them raced the hardest I've ever seen side by side to be a clean race ever. Never touched each other.
Yeah.
Never touched each other. I mean, so that tells you it can be done. And they ran off from third place, so it wasn't even like they were slowing down. Right. They were still running awesome times. And, man, that was dude, I'm going to tell you, you talk about crowd going wild. I think the crowd went just as wild after that race as they did for the late model stock race.
I bet. That was a really good race.
I mean, they loved watching that. And I will say, we are fortunate here because that is the kind of racing that Florence Motor Speedway puts on for some reason. That's not the first time we've seen side-by-side finishes this year. We've seen it tons, especially in like the truck race. We've seen it in late model stocks. We've seen all that. So that was very, very impressive. But congratulations to Matt Cox there, taking home the win on Friday night in the limited late models. So I guess that moves us into the Saturday portion of it. I got to remember who all I was down in the pits this one, so I couldn't see quite as well. Let's see, we had what all we had? We had mini stock. We had street stocks and late model stocks, right? That's all. Just 3 classes.
Yeah, the late model stocks had the heat races at
first. Right. So first race out of the night, I think, these were even 4 heat races, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Street stock got out there. Again, Lil Ricky was out front there for a while. Him and Jeff Melton raced really, really, really hard. Those two, they raced hard there. I think it was Cars Tour race when the Star Super Stock Tour was there. And they raced hard against each other. It was really good. And they did it again. Jeff Melton brought it out on top this time. And that is a good-looking race car.
Oh, yeah, always is.
He's always got a good-looking race car. It's so funny because they scanned his car for iRacing, and then as soon as they scanned it, he takes the body off of it and changes it. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Because now the body you got on it looks awesome. I'm not a huge Ford fan, but he is the Ford man.
Yeah, no matter what.
And that's a good-looking Mustang he's got there.
Oh, yeah.
So, but Jeff's always been man in street stock. He was for a long time anyway. Slowed down there for a few years, and all of a sudden this year he's come back out and really got back hard at it, I think. Followed a lot of the Star Super Stock Tour, and he's been tough to beat, especially over at Florence. The mini stocks, BJ Thrasher kind of walked off with that one. Our buddy Brandon Johnson come from 4th. Tell you what happened. It was not good. I say not good. It's just one of them things. Brandon told me he said, man, I'm mad. This was after qualifying. I said, why? He said, I feel stupid. I said, why? He said, dude, he said, I'm so used to running 3 laps for qualifying here. They cut it down to 2 tonight. He says, so I wouldn't really own it.
Yeah.
'Cause he said, it's always my 3rd lap that I'm on it and faster. He said, I didn't realize they had threw the white flag till I was already halfway through 1 and 2.
Yeah, I saw he was fast in practice. So
Yeah,
I was like, hey, he's got something here. But
So he started 4th, but then he said the car got super tight. So ended up finishing 2nd. But yeah, BJ Thrasher won, took that one home. Then we had the late model stock heats, and man, that first one was a mess.
yeah, especially for that transfer spot, it was
Dude,
all over.
they were tough. They told them before the race. Originally, I think it was set for 32 cars to make the main. After that, but I guess they changed it, or maybe I read it wrong. I'm not sure. Anyway, it ended up being 40 cars made the main. I think there was 8 provisionals.
Was there? I think there were 7.
Or 7?
Yeah,
7,
That's
I'm
what they said
sorry.
in the broadcast.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Yeah, I was down there. So
Close enough.
I was just
Whatever.
going off what somebody
Yeah.
told me. They took 6 out of each heat race. So, it was tough fought for sure. Our buddy Sam Yarborough won the first one. Asked him how the car is. Car's terrible. Like, okay. It didn't look bad. Bucky's 41 started. Okay, my bad, Bucky. My bad. Keep me straight, Bucky. There you go. Why don't you should have just came over here and sat with us. Like I've told you, I don't know how many times. You could have been the Florence Motor Speedway official right here with us. So anyway, yeah. First heat race all over the place. Second heat race, green checker, no problems.
Mm-hmm. That's how it always is. Anywhere there's heat races or
Dude, I swear.
last chance races or whatever you want to call it.
Watching on Flow Racing there, how it look, how the
Not
heat
great.
races look.
Well,
Not
quality-wise,
that. Not that. We'll talk about that later.
it looked pretty exciting. I mean, there was they had a camera on the 6th place transfer spot, and that changed hands a couple times throughout. You could tell there were some guys fading, some guys coming on. So it was pretty good. Not too, overly stupid. Nobody really got dumped for, the transfer spot or something. But it was exciting.
That's good.
Good to see.
That's good. So after that, we had driver intros. They brought the stage back that they had at the Cars Tour race. Brought the stage in, which was super cool. I was down on the front stretch for driver intros. Tried to go live what I could, but there were so many people out there. Y'all just don't understand. I'm telling you. I told Connor earlier, I was like, if you go to like a football game, it says you got signal, but you try to use your phone and it don't really want to work. That's exactly how it was. There were so many people. Stands were packed. There wasn't even, how to say, standing room only. No, there wasn't even standing room. That was not available. You could have had to stand on somebody else's head because that's the only place there was. And the pits, almost the same. It was, and with the heat races, the way qualifying lined up, then they had to line up for the heat races because they did not let the cars go back to the trailer. Once they lined up for qualifying, the cars never went back to the trailer till after the race. Ooh,
I bet that was not a whole lot of room to move around there.
Fortunately, they lined the mini stocks and the street stocks up through the little rock road entrance. They were telling Terry to go home. Why are they telling Terry to go home? It was cool. But I will say I'm gonna give this to the track for sure because they had a plan for it. They enacted the plan exactly how they needed cars to line up, and it worked perfectly. So there was never any questions about it, never any confusion, nothing like that. It was just, it looked like a lot of cars and a lot of people, and it was, but it ran smooth as silk. I know some people saying it ran long. Well, two things. One, when you got that many cars, it's going to run long. Now, I know Steve Zacharias, and I know he'll look at this and say, all right, what did we learn from it? So I know he'll probably go back and make adjustments and try again next year because it'll be bigger and better. And just like Trayton going out there and planting the tree this year. That's never been, done like that. Yeah, he did. He was talking junk about Matt. Terry was. Had him on the microphone. Matt won't even come over here and talk on the microphone. But yeah, they ran a good show. All right, we'll address the elephant in the room. If Terry or anybody's on here wants to talk about it, I don't know. I don't know the ins and outs of it. I don't know. Obviously, there was a issue on Flow Racing. From what I gathered out of what the track wrote, there was an internet issue, and I'm gonna tell you what. And I heard people just talking teetotal trash about it. This is terrible. Blah 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 blah. Well, I'm gonna tell you something. And maybe I'm just old enough to remember all this, but or I still have these problems. We've had these problems on this podcast right here. I don't care how well you prepare. I don't care what you put in place. Technology is technology, especially internet. And there is nothing any one of us can do about when it don't want to work.
Oh, yeah.
It stinks. The timing stinks of it. I mean, yes, it does. I'll agree with that 100%. It definitely stinks. But what I will say is Florence Motor Speedway and Flow Racing did everything in their power and still brought the show back on. James Pike did a good job on top of a trailer. When he was needed, dude jumped up on top of somebody's trailer and called the entire race with no notes for anybody up there. That's
that's very
professional.
Impressive. Yeah,
that's professional.
I could tell that was a pit reporter talking, and I was like, is he up in the booth, or where is he? What happened? But yeah, I mean, whenever he said late on the race, that's where he was on top of a trailer. That was very impressive.
Because I'm gonna tell you, I don't care if you're on the biggest trailer there. With as many trailers were in the infield, you still couldn't see the whole track.
See, and you're probably trying to spin around even if you can see.
Yeah, exactly. So he pulled it off effortlessly. So I will 100% hand it to James Pike and Flow Racing and Florence Motor Speedway because things happen, unfortunately. I mean, that's just the way it is. So all the people out there, throwing Flow Racing under the bus, throwing Florence Motor Speedway under the bus because of a technology issue, if you can come and 100% show somebody how to do it better and guarantee it's going to work, I imagine they'll take your advice. But I promise you, probably whatever you're going to say was already tried and probably already implemented and done because I've seen the upgrades that Steve Zacharias and them have put in the Florence Motor Speedway, and, man, they haven't spared much expense on the technology that they've tried to put in there and try to make everything better. So them coming out and apologizing for it.
Yeah, people.
They can't do much more than that, people.
There's no reason to bash the track. And like I said on the internet somewhere, I said, hey, maybe if some of the people that show up for that would support the track more times throughout the year, they could have some money to maybe upgrade some of that stuff.
That is 100% right. 100% right. I will say that. All these people that came, I know there were people who flew in. I think I was telling Connor earlier, I think I talked to a guy, said he come in from Indiana to watch that race because Junior was racing. Junior had the Junior effect, and which is great. I know there was a ton of people there for Dale Earnhardt Jr., but those same ton of people probably watched another driver out there, especially when Junior fell out of the race.
Well, there was probably a lot of local people, too, who don't usually go.
Yeah.
Hey, if you drove to this one, you maybe try and come more often.
Yeah, for sure. You ain't wrong, Matt. It'll give you problems, that's for sure. Doggone internet. So, whatever. I'm not gonna listen to the haters, because that's all it is. I mean, you get the 10 people in the room that want to be loud. And
Right.
you hear them over the other 1,000 that were. It happens.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it goes. It's the way it goes. I do know they put on a good race there. I'll be the first to say I wish after this race, I don't think it was planned that 60 cars were going to enter this race. I mean, there's always that hope, but I will say if anybody wanted me to critique it, I'll be like, let's do something to get out a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Because it's cold.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not going to complain at all. I mean, I promise you, this ain't the first time I've been to a racetrack at midnight.
No.
Won't be the last time either. I mean, but I will say, the people that were in the stands, I heard no one complaining about that.
No, I mean, I watched the Eldor Million, and that was like starting at 1 a.m. this
Exactly.
year. I mean,
Exactly.
I've like you said, I've stayed out to later than that for a whole lot less cars. To be on the track.
I remember, and it just happened. I mean, it was just one of them things. It happens sometimes at racetrack, people. It's just is what it is. I remember one time we were at Dillon for the New Year's Bash. I want to say it was. It might not have been a bash, but I remember it was cold.
Mm-hmm.
Cold.
Yeah, I've been to one that was really cold too.
And I think it was like 3 o'clock in the morning. We got out of that place. It was late. Yeah, and it just happens. It happens. But I'm with you there, Matt. Let's move to 4. If I had to throw my ideas out there, I say maybe we qualify on Friday and run the heat races on Friday, then run the 2 or maybe 3 support classes on Saturday. That way the support classes get more time in front of the big crowd.
Yeah. Only thing is maybe they don't have quite enough room for the infield because I imagine all the legend guys, the Bando guys, and
Well, that's
trucks
what I'm saying.
went home after Friday. And
Yeah, they had to.
some of the street stock stuff came in, but yeah, I mean, you can pick you out. The classes that run with you every week, letting them be able to
That's right.
get out there on the big stage.
That's just my thought. I mean, but hey, I'm not complaining about the way it run. If I had to change something, it might be what I did. So, is what it is. But racing wise, it was a good race. I think there were some drivers that absolutely lost. I don't know what it is about this race. I don't know if it used to be, this was kind of the last race of the year for a long time. Well, now you got Thanksgiving Classic and stuff like that a lot of the guys go run now. Used to this race, you'd see people wrecked. It's just like, well, I was putting a new body on the car anyway. I don't care. I'm going out.
For some reason, the first half has been the wild one the last 2 races.
Well, I think that's because the
wrecked so
wild ones were out the race by the second half. We saw wrecking. We saw fighting. We saw
it all.
Connor Jones and Mason Diaz got out and fighting. And I don't think that they were actually the ones.
No, I think somebody interviewed one of them and said it was stuff that had been happening,
Yeah.
laps before.
Dude, I'm going to tell you, I don't have. Connor Jones seems like a good driver. Dude seems fast. Driving wise. I'm going to put it out there. This dude's got to calm down, though.
Yeah.
He's got to calm down. I don't care what he's driving. He is so hot-headed when he gets in a race car. He is ready to wreck any and everybody. It's like I told somebody the other night. I was like, this would have been 10, 15 years ago. It would have stopped by now because somebody would have got out and did a little more than what Mason Diaz did. I mean, it was kind of just a grabbing and shoving match. Wasn't really But the only thing I thought was funny, I said, this is the first race I've ever been to that I've seen somebody wreck, get out and fight, had to be pulled away by security, get back in the car and keep racing.
They kept racing, really?
Mason did.
Wow.
Until he something ended up happening with it, but he got back in the car and kept going.
They take care of business.
I was like, man, that's how you do it, I guess. Just keep on going. Then the whole who was it got turned? Leland Honeyman, wasn't it Leland? I think it was. Turned who was it down the straightaway? I don't know if you were watching on Flow Racing. I don't know if you saw
I
it.
might not have got it, to be honest.
Turned him right rear, hooked him.
I know Glinsky ended up in the
That's what it
woods
was.
out there.
That's what it was. Glinsky.
I was wondering how we got. where
Glinsky
he
got right rear hooked, going in the one, hit a car.
Really?
Yeah, hit a parked car there on the other side of the fence. I think it was that little Packer car. I mean, so it didn't
Okay.
really, it really hurt much. So
Wow. Yeah, I was wondering. You know, I don't want to keep harping on Flow Racing, but you couldn't tell much. But
right,
somehow he was in like not like
he was not
not
where
like
he
he
was
went off
supposed
the
to be.
track. Like he was not far from that.
It tore his car
entrance.
up pretty good.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Tore his car up pretty good. He was not happy about it, and I'm gonna tell you what, I told somebody, I said, that's fighting words there. You hook somebody like that going there. I don't know. He bout landed on the palm tree because it was parked over there with the Bobcat holding it up, and he almost hit it.
Golly, that wouldn't have been a good sight.
No, I was like, man, this crazy. So I don't know what was going on, but there was some craziness for sure. But at the end of it, our guest earlier tonight, Trayton Lapcevich, was able to take it home over Dale Earnhardt Jr. there that ran second for a long time, fell out with 29 laps to go with a broken fuel pump.
Yeah. I hate it because
I'd like to see what he had for him.
I think he would have been the biggest one to Trayton, I think he was kind of biding his time, and I think he was going to go there, and I'd like to see him race it out. But
I was listening to a little bit. I hadn't listened to it all yet. His podcast today, I heard a little clip from it, and this dude, he was mad about his qualifying effort.
yeah, I heard he was
Did you hear what he said happened? What he said happened is he's one of them guys that wants to hear it hit the chip. He wants to hear it hit the chip. Well, he didn't know it. Well, he went out. He said he waited till the last lap, really got in it, got his tires warm, got in it. He said, I was waiting for it to hear it down at the end of the back straightaway, and I didn't hear it. He said, and when I didn't hear it hit the rev limiter, I just messed up my entire corner because I just really didn't drive it in there like I thought, and this, that, and other. He said, I just killed the entire corner. He said, well, he got back and was just like, dude, I knew, messed up and all. Well, couldn't find out they had put I think like a 500 RPM more chip in it for qualifying. They've been keeping a low one in it. That way you don't spin tires much off the corner and stuff like that, and just keeping his corner speed slower for the long run. So when they done that for qualifying, he didn't know it. They didn't tell him. And so when he didn't hear it, it just, because they didn't want it to hit the rev limiter. They wanted to keep on pulling. So it was
yeah, that's not good. But
it's not good. I'm like, dude, you just got to drive the car. Regardless of what it's doing, you got to drive. I asked somebody, I was like, dude, did they put the gear in upside down? Because it just didn't sound like it was going anywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I was like, let's change gear or something and flip the gear over. It didn't. Not good. So when he qualified 53rd out of 56, I was like, oof, it's not good. Then he just laid back in the heat there to hopefully, I guess he was hoping, probably kind of knew he was getting a provisional.
Assume,
I'd give him one too. So anyway, it was all good at the end of the day. One of the fastest cars that was there, Trayton Lapcevich, as we talked to him on here, definitely well-deserved win there. Chad Bryant and them, like you said, they got it figured out over there. Ty Majeski's won him a couple. And Ty Majeski done it a couple different ways too. He won it from the front and from
provisional.
Provisional starting spot. Yep. So anyway, that was pretty cool. Pretty cool. Any big takeaways from the race from you?
Not really. I mean, it was a good race. I mean, there's not. I don't know. The race just keeps getting bigger.
It does. It does. And I mean that's kind of how I think. That's the bad thing about it anymore. It's like nothing really surprises me in this race.
No.
I mean, it don't. And that's because we know something unexpected is going to happen. It's not real surprising, but it's pleasant, I guess we'll say.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. Pretty cool. Real quick, want to thank all our good friends over at Dixie Made, ladies and gentlemen. Dixie Made. I went and hung out there a couple times last week. Went over there and bought some. My wife needed a last minute birthday gift, and went over there and she went right in, picked something out. Was easy to find something, and took it, gave it to her friend for her birthday. So. Man, what else could you ask for? So head over to Dixie Made. They got all the brands, especially coming up wintertime. I want to know so many hoodies, pullovers, jackets, all that stuff from so many different brands. All good looking stuff. Everything that you want to wear every day. Head over to Dixie Made right here in Florence, South Carolina, right by the Florence Flea Market. Tell them we sent you over there. Can't find anywhere else better. Start buying some Christmas gifts. So y'all go check them out for sure. Also, Fresh Chef up in the Race City area of North Carolina. So many locations up there. So much good food. So y'all go check out Fresh Chef and tell them we sent you when you go. And check out their daily food and drink specials, and it's all good stuff. Also, RevMax Racing Apparel, guys. RevMax Racing Apparel. They can hook you up. Need a new suit for the new coming year. Check them out. Tell them we sent you over there. You need new multi-layer SFI rated stuff, they got you. Need single layer cart stuff, they got you there too. So head over to RevMax Racing Apparel. Tell them we sent you over there. Also, MPM Marketing. www.marketwithmpm.com. They are Tanya over there. She's number one in the game for sure. You got to know who to work with in this sport, and there's none better than MPM Marketing out there. So head over to www.marketwithmpm and see what all they can offer you today, and tell them we sent you. All right, Connor, we won another football game.
They did. They had me nervous for a second.
I know. That first run there. Like, what's going on? What's going on? Landon went to it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You enjoy it?
Yeah, he said he loved it. He that was his first one. He went with his uncle and cousin. They asked him at last minute if he wanted to ride with them, and they went and had a good time and
Good deal.
watched a good game. At least good for us. Dude, me and Sterling were sitting in church actually before church, and we're looking at the projected playoff stuff, and the projected stuff had us moving up to possibly 13th.
Yeah, I will say. I mean, a lot of the stuff that we needed to happen,
It did.
It happen.
It did.
but there's still.
We just need more.
Yeah, the path is still pretty narrow right now, I think.
Yeah, had us projected at 13, then I guess it come out AP poll.
AP, yeah. We'll see what we are tomorrow for
Yeah,
real.
yeah. And I don't know, how do you slice that up?
To be honest, I really don't want to talk about playoffs at all until after Saturday. You know, I feel like everybody, because beating Clemson is not
No.
foregone. I mean, they're still ranked higher than us, and we got to go play at Clemson in
Yeah.
a rivalry game. So some of that stuff I'm a little weary of. You know, I know we'll talk about it Tuesday when the rankings come out, but I kind of want to be like, let's
Get
win,
past this next week
and then we'll look at all the ratings and all. But,
I agree with
But
you.
hey, I mean, yeah, it stinks to think about the LSU game, but still, if you'd have asked me at the beginning of the season if I thought we'd be ranked, 15th, 14th, whatever, we're going to end up being ranked, I said there's no way.
Nah,
But,
I'm with you.
Yeah, it's I don't know. I feel like we're better than a lot of teams ranked ahead of us, but it's hard to make it. You still lost 3 times, so kind of a hard argument there. But
It's hurting us, but then we're looking at the SEC as a whole. Alabama now.
Alabama lost.
Yeah.
A&M lost.
Ole Miss lost to Florida.
SEC might get one team in at this rate.
And we've talked about it all year. It's like, man, how do you slice that? You know, when an SEC team beats another SEC team, and it's just there. And I think I think it's about like the Cup Series right now. There's so much parity in the SEC, which is what the NIL, I guess, has promoted, along with the transfer portal.
They just keep beating each other up.
Yeah, I mean, it's very even teams. I will say, did you see our quarterback did get him a nice little NIL deal?
I know he's had one before. Where did he get this time?
I heard there was like a penthouse deal at the school, or somewhere in Columbia anyway. Something about I don't know, he might already had this one, but he got an Under Armour.
Did he?
NIL, got like $1 million from them. Wow. And got I think somebody said something about a Mercedes.
I know he's got a car. Yeah, I didn't know that one. What you got to do to keep him here, I guess.
Well, and that's what I said. That's not, well, I mean, I hate that you got to do that. But if you don't, they're leaving.
He's gonna go. Yep. So, hey, we got to keep him. He's pretty good. And
our Florence native.
Yep.
Lenore Sellers. He's pretty good. His brother coming up's pretty good too.
He'll be there next year. So
yeah. Yep.
Hey, big one this week.
Big one this week. We are our big state rivalry against Clemson. Man, this is what I've told anybody, and I don't care what year it is. I don't care how good Carolina is. I don't care how good Clemson is. None of that matters.
Not a whole lot.
For whatever reason, this game can just bring out plays and players that you hadn't seen all season, and it's like anything you did in the regular season, or well, it's still regular season, but the season before this game don't matter.
That's what Spurrier said. They first got there. They say they don't care if you go 1-10 as long as you beat Clemson.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, and that is true. That's how it's looked at. So I don't know. I feel good going into it.
I feel good, but I think it's going to be close. I don't understand I know we're playing good, but I think it's just the nature of the game. It's just going to be a dogfight. But I do feel confident. I mean, I feel like if we play a good game, we should win.
Our defense got to play 4 quarters.
No doubt.
For sure. Because regardless of what Clemson's done this year, Clemson's no slouch.
Yeah, I mean, they're still ranked.
They're ranked
14th or 13th, you know. So.
Yeah. They're no slouch. I don't think their schedule strength has been the highest this year, but they've played to it. So, they've won. Yeah. Barely a couple times, but we barely won a couple ourselves. Yeah. So I don't know. We will definitely see.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. I mean,
any big plans for watching the game?
Not at the moment. Just I'm excited, a ranked matchup for the first time in a while. So we'll see. I hope we win though.
See, typically what happens to us is if we ever have gone in, most of the time when we have gone into that game as being ranked, we just got ranked that week. Yeah. We were like number 24.
Yeah.
And then we lose and we're back out of rankings. Like, man, this stinks. So now being close ranked, I don't remember a time that we've been closely ranked together and not just like at the bottom, almost to 25th, and somebody, up at in 13th, 14th, 16th, wherever it's going to end up. I don't know, but I do know. What I do know is when you listen to sports radio, sports talk shows, all those, they talk very highly of South Carolina right now.
Yeah.
So that's always good in your favor when you're trying to get into something.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see for sure. What else we got? Other than Southern National coming up this weekend. in I'm trying to remember the name of that place, Lucoma.
Oh yeah, there's always
North
a debate
Carolina.
on where it's at.
I know, right? Anyway, head up there, guys. I'm gonna tell you, one, that's an awesome race. Always is an awesome race. They put on some good racing. Two, I love the facility there.
Yeah.
What I like about it, and me and Sterling did this one time. We didn't know it till we got there. We took a little grill with us and stuff because it's a little haul for us. It's what, 3.5 hours? 3?
2.5. Yeah.
2.5. I was thinking 3. Maybe, well, whatever. Regardless, it's long enough. So we took a little grill with us. We had picked up some hamburgers and stuff. We was gonna just cook out at the track before we went in and stuff like that. And we got there, and they were like, "Oh, you can park around the track." I was like, "Oh, cool." So we paid to park, and we parked all the way down in middle 3 and 4, right up to the track. We had fold-out chairs with us. We stuck them in the back of the truck. Actually,
Yeah.
stuck the grill. We had a little small grill that literally you put about 2, maybe 4 double stacked cheeseburgers on. And we sat right there in the back of the truck and ate and had cooler with us and watched racing. And dude, it was the most.
Yeah. I've been there once. It's been a while, but
Yeah.
I remember it being a pretty cool place.
It is very cool. Now, the one thing about it, and we run it on iRacing and everything else. iRacing runs a little different than what the actual line that the guys seem to run around there. They use the apron
Oh
of that track.
They're all up on the bottom.
And that's what stinks. I'm looking at the track. I'm like, dude, this track, like I told Trayton earlier, I was like, dude, this track looks awesome. Got a ton of banking. Looks like it'd be fast. Where we going to run? On the apron. Like, no. It's so wide and just banking for days. And nope, we're going to run on the apron. Man, shoot. So that's pretty cool. It is a cool track. The Diaz's, Michael Diaz up there. He does a good job with it. He's got his flag stand now is modeled after the Texas video board flag stand, but probably nicer than
Oh, wow.
Texas flag stand. So, I mean, they were playing movies and stuff on this thing.
Wow,
So,
that's pretty cool.
Michael Diaz, he's all about some technology. He's actually the one who brought down the stage that you seen there at Florence Motor Speedway for the driver intros and stuff. Yes, that's his stage. He brings it down. And him and Steve Zacharias, they kind of share some stuff back and forth and help each other out. And so it's really cool to see that. So regardless, they're going for some big money up there. Racing will be on Racing America this week. So if you got a subscription to that, not sign up, watch a race at Southern National. It'll definitely be a good one. The one there last year was awesome.
Oh, yeah, really good.
Between Butterbean and Josh Berry, wasn't it?
I think it was Caden Honeycutt.
Was it Caden? Well, Caden Honeycutt was in it. He was up there, but I think him and Josh Berry was.
Yeah,
I think
but-
Honeycutt ended up finishing third. But they swapped the lead
But yeah, I
back and
remember
forth.
that. Yeah.
It looked like 100 times. So y'all be ready for that. So we'll be going between, I think, is that Sunday race? Yeah,
Yeah, I
that's
think
the
so.
Sunday race.
Yeah.
So y'all go check that out. Check out. I guess it's still. Is it still like rival week for football?
Yeah.
pretty much.
For the most part, yeah.
I know a lot of schedules changed this year, so I guess we got rival week. I know we got the big rival, so I'll be watching the game Saturday. But before that, you ready for some turkey?
Oh, yeah. Ready for
You like turkey?
Thanksgiving. Oh, yeah. Granddad cooks a really good turkey.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
What kind? You do baked, fried?
It's fried,
fried,
but he
Yeah.
does it really good.
Sweet. That's what we're doing fried turkey over here. So
Cool deal.
we'll be around here cooking some turkey. I think some family's coming over, and we'll eat all the fixings. Probably eat way too much. I told somebody today. I said y'all ain't realized we get off 2 days for Thanksgiving. We only get off one for Christmas. I said, why do you think that is? I said, it's because they know you eat too much on Thanksgiving. You ain't going to feel like getting up the next day. Nah, it's cool. I'm ready for it. So everybody out there, have a great Thanksgiving this week. One more time, want to talk about our tree here real fast. $20 or more gets your name on our Christmas tree, going straight to Hurricane Helene relief efforts there in the western North Carolina, some of South Carolina. We're going to try to help some people out this Christmas. So y'all get on board with us, and please send anything you can to either our PayPal or our Cash App, and we will send it all directly to them. So anyway, guys, we appreciate y'all. Hope y'all have a happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much. Don't go to any too crazy Black Friday sales. I think all those are online anymore anyway. So anyway, all right, Connor. Well, I guess we'll talk to everybody next time.
Later.
Guess we had a lot to talk about tonight. I just realized how long we went. Well, like a hour and 45 minutes. All right, guys. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Again, hope y'all have a happy Thanksgiving, and we will see y'all next time.